Hey, it's Jake with Churchfront. In this video, you're going to learn all about our newest online course, the Worship Tech Blueprint. It's an online course to help you upgrade worship technology at your church with clarity and confidence. It's a blueprint for implementing the best tools for excellent worship both in person and online. Who is this training for? It is for worship leaders. It is for tech team leaders. It's for pastors. And it's for folks who maybe are on staff at a church, or maybe you're in one of these roles that I just mentioned and you're a volunteer. Either way, it's going to help you out. This course is for people in a situation where they need to build a new system from the ground up, or maybe they need to make some significant upgrades to worship tech, whether that's audio, video, lighting, streaming, you name it. Maybe you're in a situation where you're responsible for crafting a plan and budget to present to your leaders, and you don't know where to begin because you've never designed a system. Maybe you're about to hire an integrator or an AV install company, and you're really not sure how to communicate with them. And when they present to you quotes and designs on your system, you're really not sure if it's a good design or not. The unfortunate thing is that when it comes to worship technology, most churches miss the forest for the trees. They're not seeing the big picture, and they are not solving problems that are the root cause of their tech issues and headaches. Therefore, a lot of money is wasted because they continue to just throw money at new gear, new software, and just hope that it works out and it solves their issues. But it doesn't. Those problems continue to persist. And what problems am I talking about? I'm talking about audio sounding horrible, maybe both in person and online. The live stream looks amateur. The Sunday is just full of technical difficulties and stress. Nobody on the church staff or the volunteer team knows how the system works, and you just keep throwing money at new gear and software, but you can't build a cohesive system that accomplishes all the goals that it needs to for high quality worship both in person and online. So here's the solution. You need a blueprint. It's kind of like the process when you go about building a new home. Let's think about all the things that go into a home when you're building or renovating a house. A house is a collection of multiple systems. Here's what I mean. You have the structure of the foundation, the framing, the roof. You've got plumbing to get water and sewage in and out of the house. You've got electrical for lights and outlets. You have HVAC for heating and air to keep the house at the right climate. When you build a house, you have to have a carefully constructed plan to make sure that all of these systems will work individually, but more importantly, you have to make sure that they're all going to work collectively as a whole. And there's even a ton of rules and regulations regarding every one of these systems to ensure that it's up to standards with whichever city you live in, to make sure that we're constructing good homes that are going to last a long time. And now think about the process of going about building and upgrading the technology at your church for your worship ministry. Your worship tech setup is also a collection of systems. One system is your audio system, which includes mixing consoles and your broadcast mix for your live stream viewers. You also have a visual system, the presentation display for in the room for people to see the song lyrics in your pastor's presentation, as well as lighting that has a huge effect on the visuals that your congregation experiences. Next, you have the broadcast system, the cameras, the video switchers, encoders, recording devices to capture video and stream it online for your online viewers. And then you have an information technology system for computers and the different workstations you have to have set up for your different team members in your production booth. You also have automation systems. At the end of the day, you need a blueprint for your worship technology. It's the same concept that goes for building a house. You have all of these separate systems that are closely related. They have to play well with one another. You have to have a big picture perspective, and you also have to know what's going to be the best fit for you, right? Because a lot of houses look different. They use a lot of the same underlying principles for those different systems, but it can be really customized to your particular context. And the same goes for your worship technology blueprint. There's a lot of different ways that you can construct the tech system at your church, and you have to kind of take into consideration your church's overall vision and goals, the culture of your church, and then you have to take into consideration what are the best practices and most cost-effective solutions for hosting high quality in-person worship and online worship. A blueprint is simply a design plan. It's the big picture plan. By failing to prepare, you are preparing to fail. That's a popular Benjamin Franklin quote. And a lot of worship ministries, they know they need to make upgrades, and maybe they're not happy with their live stream. The video doesn't look good. So they just start throwing a ton of money at new cameras, but they miss the big picture. They're not realizing that they also have serious lighting issues, which is actually the root cause of their live stream not looking good. And maybe they have some significant audio capture issues on stage that makes it so their stream doesn't sound good, even though they have a fancy new mixing console dedicated specifically for their live stream. There's lots of different moving pieces in parts, and you have to really grasp the big picture of how they all work together, and you have to make sure each part is solid in order for the end result to be excellent. So the reason you want to have this cohesive strategy, this blueprint, before you start making a ton of upgrades to your worship technology, is you want to have a critical look at the big picture and customizing that to your context before you actually dive into the weeds of buying a ton of gear, assembling the gear, getting the software up and running. So you need a blueprint, and that's why we created this online course, the Worship Technology Blueprint. So let's talk about what we're going to cover in this training. First, we're going to talk about how to develop a plan for transitioning your church from outdated technology or no technology at all to the latest and greatest in audio, visual, automation, and broadcast tools. And when I say latest and greatest, I'm talking specifically about a smaller to mid-size church context. So we're not talking about multiple six-figure budgets here. We're talking about probably multiple five figures at most, but even a lot of projects you can get a ton of great work done for less than $10,000. We'll also talk about the budgeting process and developing a proposal of tech upgrades to present to your leaders. We get a lot of students coming to us for this reason all the time. That's why we are going to make a brand new course on it. We want to help you put together a plan that's going to show that you're taking stewardship seriously, and you're going to take all the factors of your particular context into consideration before you go about presenting something to your leaders. We want them to be very confident in your proposal and just know that the decisions that you made in developing this new system stewards the church's resources to the absolute best of your ability. Next, we'll talk about getting your leaders on board. So hopefully by having a clear budget and a proposal for them, that'll already do a lot of the heavy lifting. So they see you have a clear plan, and they'll know why you're getting every piece of gear that you put in that proposal. But we'll also just kind of help you have those conversations with them to explain to them the benefits of the technology that the church is investing in and how that tech is going to help further the church's mission. And then finally, I want to talk more about creative ways to fund your worship upgrades. I know the money problem is a huge obstacle that a lot of worship ministries out there face. They want to make these upgrades. They know they need to make these upgrades, but it's hard to come by the resources. So we'll help you think out of the box a little bit in terms of securing funding for these projects, and you'll be amazed at all the different possibilities out there, especially if your church leaders are willing to work with you and get creative. Here are some common questions from the Churchfront community that we will definitely be addressing in this course. How do I develop a custom plan for my church? What's the best sequence for making upgrades when you can't do them all at once? Not all of us have $50,000 to spend right now on new gear, but maybe you have $5,000 to spend, and how do you know which is the best area to spend it on? Audio, video, lighting, computers. We'll talk about thinking through that process so you can really discern what the best decisions are. How will these upgrades help our church achieve its mission? This is a very important thing you have to stop and think about. You have to think about the why behind all of this. How is this going to translate to furthering the church's mission, whether it comes to discipleship, worship, evangelism, social justice, all of the major facets of what the church exists for? How do I build a high quality system that's easy for volunteers to operate? Most of us don't have a fully staffed team of employees on our production teams. Rather, they're volunteers. So we want to have tech that's going to get us excellence, but at the same time, we want tech that's going to be easy to operate, and someone could learn to operate within just a few minutes. How do I future-proof upgrades? Technology is changing all the time, so how do I make sure I'm buying things that are at least going to last our church 5 years, possibly up to 10 years? How do I communicate my vision to integrators or install companies when I'm not a tech expert? We love seeing churches work with integration companies out there, but unfortunately, sometimes there's a disconnect in communication between the worship leader and an AV install company because a worship leader doesn't really know or have a clear picture of what's going to be best for the week-to-week worship workflows that they have. And then the same thing for a lot of AV companies out there. Some of them are very specialized for a church environment, or at least they say they're specialized for a church environment. But unfortunately, a lot of the time here at Churchfront, when we're working with clients, we see them working with integrators who are giving them some recommendations about their tech systems that don't really make that much sense specifically for a worship environment. So this is one of my big goals here, is that as a worship leader, you can just talk and communicate to your integrators with more confidence and hopefully take a greater lead in that conversation to tell them, like, we want this for our audio, we want this for our presentation, and we want this for our broadcast demands. So now give me a bid on what it's going to look like for you to fly speakers, hang lights, and wire things up in a way that's going to just really complement this dream I have for the systems and workflow that we desire. And then lastly, how do I communicate my vision and proposals to church leadership? As I already discussed, we're definitely covering that question. Very important note about this course, it is not a technical guide to the various systems that we'll be talking about, like audio, presentation, video, streaming, etc. We have other courses for that. This course is the new prerequisite to all of our other worship tech online courses and trainings. Think of this course as focusing on the forest and how all these systems will work together, designing the right system for your church, while all the other courses we have focus on the trees. Those are really the nitty-gritty, hands-on, step-by-step of how to get the gear and the software working properly. Once this course is complete, it is going to be mandatory for everyone who goes through our accelerator program wanting to focus primarily on tech. And again, it's going to be a great entry point for some of you wanting to work with our team and just getting a great overview and introduction to the tech systems that we recommend. And one of the exciting things is that everything that we've worked on that I'm going to be sharing in this course, it's really based on our experience helping 12,000 plus churches around the globe. So it's really exciting. We've had so many churches, especially here in the States, but as you can see on this map, from all around the globe have reached out to us to help them build these systems, and they've worked and they've loved it. They're getting amazing results, and the system that we're going to help you design is going to be based on the same experience that we've learned from all of these cases. You're also going to be able to replicate the systems that we use at my church, South Fellowship. I'm a worship tech director and a worship leader just like you, so I'm in it every single Sunday, and so is the rest of our team. So we understand, again, what has to happen on Sundays. We're not just disconnected install companies who don't really understand the actual headaches, struggles, goals, and dreams you have for your ministry. So our church will kind of be the primary case study. For some of you, we have more gear and features within our system than you'll actually need. And for others of you, we probably, you could probably expand on this and make it even crazier. But this system really does touch on all of the major facets of what we teach in worship ministry school and what we have seen worked so well time and time again at churches who have worked with us. So here's how this course is going to work. Like all of our courses, it's a 100% online course. The lessons are going to be released August 27th through October 8th. Once the lessons are uploaded into the course portal, you can work through them at your convenience and on your schedule. You can play the videos back, there's no like set time where you have to show up or a certain place to actually watch these videos. You can really fit it into your schedule. You'll also get team access, so you can add people at your church to your account within worship ministry school so they can log in and work through this training as well, and you can all be on the same page. You'll also get lifetime access, so I plan on updating this course over the years as our recommendations change. And this is kind of a good thing to bring up too. Like technology keeps changing, we keep changing our recommendations, and it's hard for me to make a YouTube video about it every time and keep all those recommendations organized. So that's why this course exists, is that's going to be the place to keep you up to date with our latest recommendations for worship tech. And as I already mentioned, you can work at your own pace with this course. So that is all you need to know about the online course, what it's going to look like, when it's going to be coming out, how it all works once the lessons are released. I did want to let you know about a limited time discount. I always offer this type of discount when we do a beta launch of a new course, meaning this is the first time we're actually making the course from the ground up and you get to join us in the process, which is pretty fun. So you're going to get 50% off the regular price until the countdown on the web page hits 0. So if you're watching this video on YouTube, click the link in the description of the video. It's going to take you to the page where you can learn more and you can enroll in the course. Just make sure you enroll before the countdown hits 0 so you don't miss out on this massive discount. And just a reminder, you do get lifetime team access to this training. So you know what to do now. Go ahead and click the enroll button at the bottom of this page. It takes 2 seconds to fill out the information there to get yourself enrolled. And then over the next few weeks, I'll be releasing the videos, and I cannot wait to join you on this journey as you continue to make improvements to the worship technology at your church.